I'm very excited about our next recipient and the friend of mine who will be accepting the award. To present the Paul Wellstone Award is the amazing, the incredible, the heroic Representative Barbara Lee from California. Come on. One of our greatest champions in politics and in the nation, and a past recipient of the America's Future Progressive Champion Award, Barbara Lee.
Well, first of all, thank you for that very generous introduction, but let me just say, first of all, how much I appreciate being here, how much I appreciate being here with people who want to make sure that everyone has an equal opportunity to live the American dream. That's everyone. Let me first say to Bob and to Roger and to all of you, Campaign for America's Future, you all, your leadership, I want to thank you for your friendship, but you know, you're doing the heavy lifting as we work for a more progressive, a more equal, and a more just America. Let me congratulate the honorees, and Lily, first let me just say to you, teachers, and you laid it out, teachers should be the highest paid profession in the country. Thank you. My children and grandchildren, thank you. Also, excuse me, let me just say to Mark, Scott, excuse me, the issue around climate change and globalization is so important as we talk about communities of color and its negative impacts on women and communities of color throughout the world. And your leadership in helping to crack that prison pipeline from cradle to prison is so important. So let me just thank you. Where is Scott? Thank you, Scott, so much for your leadership on so many of those very difficult issues. And tonight, it really gives me a lot of pleasure and honor, but also a sense of gratitude to be able to present the Paul Wellstone Citizen Leadership Award to National People's Action. So many of you are friends of Paul. He was a friend of mine. Senator Paul Wellstone gave us really a model of what progressive leadership looks like. Paul stood up when it counted, and he held strong to his beliefs. I had the privilege to get to know Paul and his wife, Sheila. And it was quite amazing how Paul was the only member of the Senate who was in the Progressive Caucus. And not only was he a member in name, but Paul was an active member of the Progressive Caucus, directing and ensuring that our small caucus, that now we're the largest caucus in the Congress, I'm very proud to say, but Paul made sure of that, directing and helping us formulate this progressive agenda. And yes, listening to Senator Warren once again inspired me and reminded me that America is a progressive country. Excuse me. I've been down the hill too long today. But you know, I come from the heart and soul of the progressive movement, Oakland and Berkeley, California. That's my home. And so Paul Wellstone, he was an organizer at heart, but he also used his Senate seat to help and support and nourish organizers and this progressive movement, which once again is mainstream America now. Senator Wellstone also understood that Washington works only when citizens are mobilized to counter the dark influence of big money in politics. Paul told us then what we needed to do, public financing the campaigns, and Paul was right then and he's right now. And so National People's Action shares that Wellstone tradition. This national network of grassroots organizations is at home in 18 states and carries on the proud tradition of direct action. Not only do they speak truth to power, they add what I call the street heat needed to get the job done. Street heat. And you know what street heat is about. In recent months, NPA has waged a major battle against payday lenders who charge obscene interest rates of 300% or more. 300%, mind you. 300%. And actively targets low-income families and communities of color. Their powerful campaign has forced big banks like Wells Fargo to shut down their predatory payday fronts, that's what they are, and they continue making progress on this important issue. They continue to put that street heat on these big banks. Likewise, NPA is helping provide the grassroots energy to shut down offshore corporate tax havens that have been, shut them down, right? Not change the rules, but shut them down. These tax havens that have been used to stash more than $2 trillion, $2 trillion, to avoid paying taxes. And now, NPA is leading an effort in states across the country to make the president's Clean Power Plan a source of good-paying jobs and economic growth, good-paying jobs, Scott, in impoverished communities across the country. This spring, NPA joined with the Campaign for America's Future to issue the Populism 2015 platform. It's called Building a Movement for People and the Planet. People and the planet. This platform, it lays out the key reforms needed to ensure that the green economy work for working people while challenging presidential candidates and other candidates to embrace it. That's the street heat I'm talking about. For its independence, for its forceful commitment to direct action, for its willingness to take on the most powerful entrenched interests, NPA exemplifies the politics that Paul Wellstone championed. Once again, I come from the East Bay in California where we say, power to the people, power to the people. So it's my pleasure to present the Paul Wellstone Citizenship Leadership Award to National People's Action. Come on up.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Congresswoman, and thank you to Campaign for America's Future. It's always great to be honored, but it's particularly great to be honored by an organization and people that are as principled as those that work at Campaign for America's Future. Thank you, guys. So quickly, I'll be here quickly. Like, we are who we are at MPA because of our members and because of organizers. People who go out on the streets, knock on doors, and put their reputations, their time, and their bodies on the line to stand up to corporate power and to stand up to structural racism. Everything we do in this room would not matter if people didn't go out, get on the streets, knock on doors, and recruit more people to join organizations and go out and fight. And so tonight we're going to hear from two organizers in MPA. First, we're going to hear from Lizeth Chacon. Lizeth Chacon is leading a merger of two organizations in Colorado to build one big Colorado powerhouse that's going to have the power to change the lives of their members and open up political space in their state and across the country. She's an organizer we all need to watch. I'm going to turn it over to Lizeth.
Buenas noches. So my name is Lizeth Chacon, and I am proud to represent National People's Action and accept this award on behalf of the thousands of people across the country who share in our vision, our values, and our work. Back in 2012, at the start of my organizing career, I attended an intense, and it was really intense, week-long leadership training with NPA. And today, I stand before you as the executive director of an organization that is working to change the face of politics in Colorado. A person that is leading the merger of two organizations to create a new statewide grassroots powerhouse to move a progressive agenda in Colorado. National People's Action is an organization that is dedicated to transformation. NPA is dedicated to transforming individuals like myself, helping us achieve the dreams that we didn't even know we had. I didn't know, and I never thought that 3 years ago, after my first encounter with NPA, I'll be standing in front of you as an executive director. And NPA is dedicated to transforming this country, person by person, city by city, and state by state. We are working to create the next great populist progressive movement to realize our vision for a new economy and a true democracy. But we know we are not and cannot do this alone. The next great American social movement won't be the work of a single individual or a single organization. From Occupy Wall Street to Black Lives Matter, from the Fight for 15 to the Dreamers movement, we know, in the words of the climate movement, that changing everything will require all of us. That's why we're so proud to stand with all of you in this room. Muchísimas gracias. And now I'm going to pass on the microphone to Bobby. He is the Vice President of NPA's Board of Directors.
You're an awesome lady. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Bobby Tolbert. I am the Vice President of the Board of Directors for National People's Action. And I'm extremely honored to represent NPA and as well be the recipient of this heartfelt award. I was told a while ago that when you're developing an ambitious vision and work endlessly to make it a reality, you come to learn that it takes more determination and more perseverance than you have ever imagined before in your life. And when you organize on a national level the way we do, you come to find out that more times than not, you have to think outside the box. So, our 40-year populist agenda to put people and planet first by creating an economy that works for everyone, by taxing Wall Street, by ending payday lending, by preventing climate change, by declaring that Black lives do matter, and by electing our own progressive candidates into government, was just a prelude to promote that transition of our country into the democracy that was intended when we signed the Constitution. To change the current power dynamic in America is a very time-consuming and daunting task. And there are very few rewards in the work that we do. So to be so exalted by people like yourselves is exceedingly gratifying. And it is to that end that I say that we will continue to agitate the status quo until we get our end. And we will not be afraid to push the envelope from the outside again. And we are not afraid to bear the weight of justice and equality in America. And we are not afraid to take the fight to the people in power because we're not afraid to fight the good fight. Woo! But if it means a fair chance for the 99, we'll do it with conviction. I believe that I speak for everyone from National People's Action when I say we deeply appreciate your acknowledgement and we salute you. Thank you.